me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. Yes, you know, it's me. I'm back. Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, your closing bell for Tuesday, December 6th, 2022. Shout out to TJ, Mr. PB. Shout out to all my guests today. Julian Edlow from DraftKings, The Real Vegas Dave Sharapan at Sportsbook Consig, at Sports Grid, at Cash Consideration Show, and Ron from Ron A Sports from LA. Yes, this is show number 4, but a handful of you have been here since the break of dawn, and I'm a little tired, a little winded. That's why I brought in my co-host from the Windy City himself, Mr. SouthSide Riley. What is up, Riley?
What's up, my friend? Happy Tuesday afternoon. Glad to be the anchor for your four show day here. So I am ready to rock, my friend. It's been a few days since we've chatted. Obviously, football, everything shaking out this past weekend, college and NFL. The hot stove heating up a little bit here these last few days. You and I still are still standing at the altar a little bit here as far as our White Sox and Red Sox over here. But you know what it is. It is what it is. But you know, we're rocking and rolling. We've got some good college basketball, good Big Ten basketball games tonight that I'm excited for, and then a few NBA games to chat about as well. So I'm ready to rock, my friend. How's it going?
I'm doing fine. Feeling good, feeling great. I'm out of high test coffee, so the only thing I got left is this French vanilla mocha, which is like drinking chocolate milk. I mean, I need a zip, I need a zap. You know, shout out to Mr. PB. So many spots, so many places to go. Where do I want to start? Let's start with some hot stove. You know, I talked about the Mets. You got Max for like $100 million the next 2 years or whatever the stupid money is. You lose DeGrom, which hats off to the Rangers. 5 years, they took a swing. He got paid $185. Mets need to replace DeGrom. I get that. They also need a goddamn bat.
Yeah.
All right. So I said all along, Trey was getting 300 for 10. He was going to get 30. I was here in the Phillies. Well, the Phillies says, you ain't getting 30 per year from us. We're going to give you 11 years. Make it look a little better for $300 million. But the way I look at this is if I was the Mets, I could get Trey for 27.5 per year. Okay. I'm not going to spend 40 plus million on Verlander for 2 years with a third year option and tie him up with another older gentleman, Max Scherzer. I've been waiting for the tires to fall off forever. You got over $90 million tied up with, listen, 2 Hall of Famers. They're both going to the Hall of Fame. I get that part.
Certainly.
But what has been the problem for the Mets for the handful of years? Going way, way back. They're whether it was Syndergaard, whether it was DeGrom, they never could stay healthy. Mm-hmm. Okay? Why not spend 27.5 on Trey and bring in like a Rondon or something for maybe 25? The fact of the matter is, I think I could have spent that money a little better. Was it more PR? Listen, Verlander's been Cy Verlander. We get that. Coming over the National League is going to help. But he, too, is not removed from getting injured here.
Right. And I guess, like you said, is it PR? I guess if you didn't feel like you could get one of those big bats, but I mean, at the same time, maybe I'm obviously not a Mets fan. I don't know what they're feeling. I don't know any Mets fans, but at least close friends or anything like that. But you know, if they brought in a huge name like you're mentioning right now, that's an offensive player, I don't think that would be, I don't think they would be scoffing at that at all. So I'm 100% with you. And you know, if what they're going for is, you know, hoping that these guys are ready to go for October, and we feel like that's the best, 1-2 punch or whatever it is that you could buy, then I guess they're going for it. But like you said, I mean, that's been their problem for the most part these last few years is and obviously a number of getting cold at the wrong times too. But for the most part, these are older arms wearing down at the wrong time. Not even older arms, just arms wearing down at the wrong time. And Verlander himself was wearing down by whether wearing down or just not not having his best stuff in October. He wasn't very good this past postseason either. So I'm with you. Obviously if those guys are rocking and rolling, then good for them. But I'm on the same page with you 100% here.
They could shock the world and steal Judge. I don't think he's going there. Obviously, I still sticking with it's either the Yankees or San Fran. And the more I'm hearing, it sounds like the Yankees are going to pay up and he's going to end up being a Yankee, which for me is a big win because if Judge goes to San Fran or goes somewhere else other than the Yankees, that puts more pressure on the Red Sox to sign Devers. Because put it this way, if Judge goes somewhere else and the Red Sox don't re-sign Devers, the lock of all locks, and I don't use that word, is Devers wearing pinstripes. It's an absolute given.
Yeah. 100%. I can't dispute that at all. It's that would be the way it goes, or him and someone else as well. So I'm with you. Obviously they're kicking themselves. They could have gotten a cheaper price before he hit 60 home runs, but I mean I would imagine they're going to pony up, but he's obviously playing coy and keeping his options open for the most part, whether it's the leverage or actual. So I'm interested. I don't know. Do you think that happens soon, or do you think that one drags out a little bit?
I'm going to go soon. I'm going to say the next big name off the block will be Xander, and I'm going to call Padres. I think the Cardinals have dragged their feet a little too long. I thought they would have been in and swooped in. My Padre people are pretty adamant. They're talking, they're kicking the tires. Now, that extra year that the Phillies threw on the trade does help there. So you got an AV, a 27.5, I think it is for Trey. I think you can get Xander around that 25 number and then work from there, maybe a 6 or a 7. But I know I'm hearing he wants $200 million. I don't know how you get $200 million. These 10-year contracts, 11-year contracts. Guys, come on now. I mean, please. Can we just get it back to the 5 with a 6-year option, or even 7 tops? But 10, 11 years is just preposterous.
Yeah, and the track record of those working out the last 4 or 5 years, after that 6-7 year mark isn't very good either. So, as far as those shortstops are concerned, I know Cubs and Cubs fans are clamoring for one of those guys to be Cub. I think it's more likely either Correa or Dansby Swanson is going to be headed to the Cubs. I guess I'll go on record in predicting Correa to the Cubs, but that's a wild guess for the most part there. But it does sound like they're going. All right, they're trying to. I saw a rumor that they might have a chance of getting 2 of the 3 of those guys, which I don't know that's likely. But I'd be willing to bet that the Cubs get one of those guys for sure.
I'll give you the stage. What is we haven't talked in a few days. Are you hearing anything in the White Sox camp?
Not really. The cold is stove. The stove is cold for the most part for the White Sox over here. I think we're going to be competing for scraps for the most part. Like I said, we've been in the mix for we were in the mix for potentially Colton Wong. That obviously that ship has sailed. So I'm still hoping for a lefty outfielder, or even any outfielder batting some type of second baseman. Seems like the ship has kind of sailed for pitching. Maybe we'll piece together some scraps as far as whether it's another long term or depth minor league kind of like the Johnny Cueto situation or a bullpen guy or something like that. But I think we're going to be making a move for some type of, mediocre type name as far as second baseman and outfield. So not sure what that means at this point. A lot of the guys that have been floating around are starting to move on. But I'm not saying this with the White Sox, but now I'm drawing a blank on what the name was. But I saw there was a pretty high prize Yoshida overseas Japan outfielder that might be on the market, so I'm not sure. Again, I'm not saying that's the White Sox. I was just curious because a lot of times for me, a lot of these international guys come out of nowhere where I'm not following them at all. And like for example, Suzuki for the Cubs last year comes out of nowhere, and they make that sign, and he has a really solid year for them. So not sure if he's an option for anybody or not, but 29 years old, pretty MLB ready, I'd say there. So the stove is pretty cold for the White Sox right now. I'm hoping it can heat up pretty soon here.
I'm the same way. I'm just hearing BS after BS for the locals.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm just going to bite my tongue and I'm going to sit back and wait. I did hear one of those prospects, potentially the Sox were in on, and going back to the Cubs and Suzuki last year, that was, I think, the reason why we didn't re-sign Schwarber. I kept saying to you and anyone that wanted to listen, the Sox, that was their guy. And then we had the lockout, and then, we get caught holding the bag. We get nothing, and then that's when the brainiac Bloom decides, hey, let's go get JBJ back, and then we'll give them Renfro, and we'll get a couple picks to us. And it was just, between Renfro and Schwarber, I think they hit like 90 homers or 85 homers or something. So, going to change gears here before we dive in here. I'll give you a couple seconds to talk about Sunday, but I'm wearing the jacket. The number 5 ranked Yukon Huskies, number 5, and I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to boast. It's more a shock because this team is weeks and months ahead of schedule. They were supposed to be primed for a late January, February run. Hats off to Mr. Hurley, Coach Hurley, and what they've done. They had the cupcakes to start. They go to Thanksgiving, they roll, then they come home. They beat a Oklahoma State team. They're 5-6 point favorites tomorrow against Florida. I'm in shell shock. I don't think they've been ranked. They said 5th in forever. Rudy Gay, Rick Hamilton, Kemba. I'm in shock. That's all I can say.
Because even the couple of runs, obviously, I know the Kemba run, they were 3 or 4 seed in the tournament, and then the other one, they were an 8 seed or something like that with Kevin Ollie as the coach, right? That's was the Kemba year? Did they ever get that high as far as top 5 or anything like that?
No, not that I remember. And I actually think they might have been like that at 6-7 with that other run. I was sitting in Vegas and they were playing. I want to say it was Houston or someone, and I was like, no, it's over. And then these teams get on these runs, and then you start believing, and it's just their year, and that's the run that they put together.
Yeah, 100%. And I was a huge fan of that second one with Napier and Boatwright from the Chicago area. And I know some guys that I went to high school ended up playing with him before he went to UConn. So he was always someone we watched closely. But just got an update. Obviously not the craziest thing in the world, but getting a decent amount of money. Andrew Heaney signing with the Rangers. 2-year deal with an opt-out in the middle. It's worth $25 million through those 2 years, but can increase to $37 million with incentives.
He was sort of linked to the Red Sox. I actually thought that he was going to head over here. That's a good sign. Listen, I've been waiting for this kid. He was often injured with the Angels. Listen, when healthy, I think he's sneaky good. Obviously you got a DeGrom. What the Rangers are trying to do here is to piecemeal a starting staff and hoping, you got 5 starters and hoping 3 are ready to go, and then the other 2 are ready, off on and something. Yeah. So, hey, listen, they're not afraid to spend, though.
No, definitely not. And the other team though, I didn't see this one about an hour ago. I'm assuming you might have seen this one. Josh Bell to the Guardians for 2 years, which definitely doesn't make it any easier for my White Sox. So hopefully that pushes the pressure a little bit there because they were a young, surprising team this past year, aside from Jose Ramirez and company for the most part. But if you add a little bit, then obviously the White Sox need to push the envelope a little bit to avoid another. I guess I don't remember if they finished 2nd or 3rd place, but regardless, hopefully that pushes the envelope for the White Sox there.
Hello, Red Sox. Hello, White Sox. Hello, Hot Stove. What's going on here, guys? Hello. And you want us to buy season tickets and stocking stuffers? Go. Will you?
No kidding.
Sunday. You got the Rookie of the Year? Do you have the Rookie of the Year on your roster?
That's a good question. I haven't looked at the odds lately and drawn a blank on. Would he be the Rookie of the Year? No. Well, Kenneth Walker just got hurt, so I guess Christian Watkins is plus 350 right now. Kenneth Walker just got hurt. I don't know what his timetable is, but he's plus 150 still. Garrett Wilson 250, and then Watson 350.
Listen, Kenneth Walker has an injury that they haven't seen before. It's
Yeah.
when you start hearing that. Here's the real story, guys. Okay, he was bitching and yelling back and forth with Gino. Gino's running the PROs, and Gino thinks he's Air Coryell, and he is just faking and faking and throwing all over the field. All right, and they're barking on the sidelines. So Gino finally gives him a ball. He goes to the left sides and he jams his foot down to try to cut and go down the sidelines. And then he comes up lame, nowhere to be found the rest of the game. They're saying 1 to 2 weeks. Okay. Anyone here listening to this show, go run to your window right now. Go get a little something on Christian Watson. I think the Packers still got a little something left. The kid's got speed to burn, and if they set it up right and they catch him in stride, there's no one on the field that can catch this kid.
Yeah, I was trying to compare because I was looking at Wilson's numbers. Because Watson's got 7 receiving touchdowns, and then just had a rushing touchdown, so 8 total touchdowns. Wilson's only got 4. Got him in, plenty got him by catches and yards. But I'm with you. I mean Watson was supposed to break out in that Buffalo game, but gets hurt, first play of the game or whatever after a 13-yard gain or something like that. And Rodgers and LaFleur were like, yeah, that hurt us. He was in the game plan all game long. So these last few weeks ain't fluky is what I'm trying to say. And we got a game we're bye week and then Monday night game against the Rams. Who obviously have struggled mightily, and then the other thing is, even if we start to lose a little bit, whether it's Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers, Watson is there's no drop off there. You saw Jordan Love come in against Philly and hit Watson for the huge gain touchdown. I don't remember how long it was, but regardless, the upside is certainly there. 350. I haven't been tracking those odds. I wish I would have a little bit more, but I mean the swing at Watson is definitely still there. He's definitely a touchdown threat. Rodgers was trying to go to him in the first half of that game against the Bears a handful of times up against that banged up secondary, and credit to the Bears secondary. They played a lot better than you would have expected, but if that secondary wasn't protecting the deep ball, I mean, Watson could have had 4 touchdowns in that game the other day against the Bears.
Week off, and then the stretch run. What does your schedule look like?
So we got the Rams, like I said, on Monday night here against, who knows going to be quarterbacking other Rams. Either way, they obviously aren't playing well. We get the Dolphins on Christmas, which is, and it's at Miami, so that's the tough one, obviously. And then home for the Vikings, which obviously the Vikings you could see regressing, and then home for the Lions to close it out. If I'm being, you can call me a homer if you want. It wouldn't surprise me. The Dolphins one, I'm not going to sit here and say, I don't know. That one is the one that concerns me the most by far. Going down to Miami anytime, we don't travel to Florida very well. So that one on Christmas definitely concerns me. Wouldn't surprise me if we won 3 of the other 4, though.
No, see, and you need the sheath here.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Is it Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, you said?
That one, the Dolphins game is on Christmas Day.
Okay. Are you going to Miami for Christmas, or you going to play a football game and it's a business trip? And because listen, the Lions are 2.5-point favorites over the Vikings, so you're gonna be favored there. Vince Ferragamo isn't walking through the door. You're favored against the Rams. Okay, you're gonna the Lions. Pesky, I'll give them. They're playing great. That will probably be your tougher game. And so it all does come down to the Dolphin game.
Yep. Yeah. And my dad was talking as optimistically as possible, doing the whatever ESPN or whatever playoff machine, punching in the losses for all these other teams. And he's like, even if we could do it, we could lose to the Dolphins and still get it. And I was like, all right, well, we definitely need to win all these games. But I do believe, whether it's us or somebody else, I do believe that 7th seed might be a 9-8 team. I do kind of believe that the way it's shaken out. We could have used that Washington and Giants game, whoever, a loser in that game, and then lose the second game because they play twice here. But again, one of those teams could finish 8-1, and Washington could, obviously regress the way that the Giants are regressing. So, and we needed, it would have helped if the Rams would have beaten Seattle the other day. So we need 2 of those 3 teams to kind of fall off, which their schedules are tough. So that at least has given me optimism. But we're going to have to sheet to have a legitimate chance for sure there.
NBA 3 games, so we'll start there. You got Lakers traveling to Cleveland, the return of LeBron for the 38th time. Detroit at Miami. Extension that number. And Dallas and Denver. Dallas puts a whooping on Golden State last night. Now they go right back to Denver. 3 games. At least there's no, 15-point spreads on any of them.
Yeah.
Totals look fair: 224, 222, 223. What are you seeing?
Yeah, we can start with the Lakers and Cavs. I mean, obviously, Anthony Davis is playing out of his mind, looking like the bubble championship Anthony Davis. And credit to him. I mean, and him and the Lakers, they're playing a lot better. So everyone's in love with the Lakers now, right? Especially as 5.5-point dogs here. I saw some public money on the Lakers. But you know what? I think this number could be spot on here, the 5.5 here. So I'm ultimately going to be staying away from the spread. But what I will say is if you're putting together, and if we're getting a red hot Anthony Davis, if you're putting together a short list of guys that would defend or slow him down, the couple guys that the Cavs have would be on that short list. So I kind of expect the Cavs to win this game, honestly. But it's a TNT game, like you said. A lot of these games are very, very sharp and spot on. So. I'm going to kind of lean on them winning, but, I don't know if they cover or not, if I'm being totally honest with you here.
I got both probable: Davis and James, and Jared Allen questionable. Yeah, guys, stay away from the TNT games, will you? I'm just telling you. Let's just stay away from the TNT games. They're so sharp. They're so spot on. Listen, the Lakers can win by 10. They can lose by 20. It's just the way it is. I mean, I know everyone was all over Dallas, all over Golden State. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Again, guys, very simple. Got $1 million on the left, $1 million on the right. Who wins the game? The bookie. He made $100,000. Okay, so just stay away. Grab some popcorn, grab some pizza, grab a cold one, get some eggnog, have some fun. There's 10,000 games out there. Just stay away from the TNT games. That's all.
Yep. And the other one, just for reference, Dallas and Denver. Denver drops the last 2 games, I do believe here. Dallas playing well, 121 offensively, 121 points or more scored these last 3 games. But you're getting a Dallas team total of 109.5. So I don't know if that's any indication that Dallas might be due for some regression or not here or not, Jeff. But the 5-point spread and the way their offense is rolling to now have a 109.5 team total, I'm calling a little BS on them flying over that. So regardless of what you said, I 100% agree. If you're looking for some entertainment value, would you hate a 2-leg parlay of Cleveland Cavs and Denver Nuggets at about plus 125?
Here's what scares me.
Okay.
I'm going to use the Celtics as an example. Okay. Lose Friday night. Okay.
Yep.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they play on Sunday?
I believe they beat Brooklyn on Sunday.
At Brooklyn, right?
Yep.
And then they were 2-point dogs at Toronto. So where I was going says 3 games in 5 days, 4 days. They played Friday, they played Sunday, they played Monday, and so three games in 4 days. The fact of the matter is, my head says, well, you got to take Toronto. You got to take Toronto. And what did they do? The Celtics won. And what I'm saying is, Dallas, big showing. Now they traveled to Denver back-to-back. Denver getting a little healthier. I did hear a stat. Dallas is the number 1 defense in the first quarter. Not that I play first quarters.
Sure.
I heard that yesterday. My first instinct would be take Denver. I would just take Denver but when these teams are playing good, the back-to-backs don't phase them. Right. They don't phase them. Right. So, but you're spot on. 80% of the tickets on the over, 65% of the money on the under.
Okay.
I like the under. But I don't have a problem if you're looking for the plus money there. I don't.
Yeah. No, it was just I lean towards both these teams getting the win. And again, I don't know that I'm even doing this. It was just that if I had to define some entertainment out of these TNT games, maybe I'd take a little 2-leg favorite action. But the concerns are there, 100%. The concerns, I mean, if I didn't have those concerns, I'd be taking both these teams individually on the spread there. You know what I mean? So 100%. Yeah. A lot of this logic stuff with the NBA hasn't been going that way yet. Or we'll see if it does. And so As far as this Pistons Heat game, that's the other third one here. The Heat are playing better for the most part. I think they're still under 500, but they are playing better than the last 5 or so here. But I do believe no Jimmy Butler tonight. So as it's been going here in the NBA, if the star is out, you can bet that team's going to be just fine, and they're going to win by about 25 points. I don't know that that's going to happen again tonight. Detroit's been scrappy lately, as far as I'm aware. They obviously just lost a couple nights ago by 10, but get the win over Detroit. Over Dallas, but they're all over the place. They're as much as I love Cade Cunningham's still out, obviously, and Jaden Ivey. Seems like they're trying to tank for a third member of that trio there. So I don't know what's going to happen in that one. I'm staying far, far away from it. I believe it was at 8.5 this morning. So if you caught Detroit plus 8.5, then maybe you're feeling good. But aside from that, I'm not touching this one at all.
Okay, so I'm having a little problem here now. I'm as dumb as a bag of bricks when it comes to technology. I hit a button that changed my colors on one of the my spreadsheets. But the reason I'm saying this is, what are you seeing? I'm seeing Cavs 4 across the board, but if I look at Wager Talk, I'm seeing 5.5. So what is your number saying?
I see 5.5 all over.
All right. I bet you I screwed something up here.
I think that might have been, I don't know if it was at 4. I know it was at 4.5. It might have been 4. I don't know if that was an opening at 4, but I know it was at 4.5 a lot of the time earlier today, and 4 maybe at open. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm seeing 5.5 across the board there.
Yeah, same here. And the same with the Heat, 8.5 here, and it's down to 7. That's why I'm saying it smelled pretty bad here. So I bet you I might have screwed this up with an opener or something, where I just need a refresher. Like I says, when it comes to that. Ugh. All right.
Yeah.
College hoops. What are you seeing?
All right, college hoops. I've got obviously the Big Ten games to chat about here, and then I've got a couple random ones or somewhat random throw at you, see if you've got any other random ones as well. But the Big Ten's got the what I would say maybe the 3 biggest games of the night, if not 3 of the 4 or 5. Couple hours away now. Illinois and Texas at Madison Square Garden. Was at 2.5 a lot of the point in the day, I believe. Went down to 2. Excuse me. I don't know if it might have opened at 4. Was at 2.5 a lot of the points earlier today. Now back up to 3.5. 142.5 total there. I don't know. This is another one where maybe this one's spot on. What I will say, Illinois has been a pretty good bounce back team, at least straight up against the number. On a lot of favorite spots, they haven't covered, favorite numbers. They're obviously a dog here, but last 2 seasons plus the 1 loss already this year, 13-3 straight up following a loss. Obviously, this team is very different from those last 2 teams that they had. A lot of the last 2 teams were pretty similar, so maybe you throw that out the window completely. But for the most part, I like, and obviously I'm a little bit of a homer here, but I like Illinois in a lot of bounce back spots, Jeff. But if I had to lean anywhere, I'm leaning Illinois, especially with the point uptick here at 3.5. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't surprise me if Texas looked like potentially the best team in the country and won by 5 to 10 points here. What are you thinking here?
Ken Palm's got Texas at 2, Illinois at 18. They got a 73-68 final at Madison Square, the Mecca. The second game, Duke and Iowa. How the hell can you have Duke and Iowa as the second game? Shame on them. Let me see here. Texas, UTEP, Houston Christian, the blowout of the Zags, Northern Arizona, UT Rio Grande, and then the tight one with Creighton. They're undefeated at this point. And we talked about the Friday night games and what happens in Maryland. Illinois is already 8 games in. Eastern Illinois, UMKC, Monmouth, UCLA, loses to Virginia at 9, which Virginia, I think, is one of the top teams in the country. Lindenwood, Syracuse, and then the 5-point loss to Maryland. My head says bounce back and the number neutral court. My suggestion, if you were to get involved in this game here, is I'm just trying to see. I did fix the screen, people, so no more laughing, TJ. If you got 3.5, I'd buy the hook to 4 and 5 to beat you. What's the money line there?
Let's see. Illinois plus 140, Texas minus 165.
Sprinkle a little something, something on the Illinois pizza and beer on the Illinois to win that game. Again, listen, Texas is a wagon, long, strong. They can do it all. Illinois matches up well with them. Hopefully, they took that loss Friday to heart. It's a good bounce back spot. I would think it would be a hard fought battle too. Um, Teams come to Madison Square Garden either thrive or get throttled. If you're going to get involved in Illinois today, I might even look at a first half number. Are they giving you 2.5, or are they getting cute here with a 1.5?
Looks like 1.5.
Yeah, so Illinois is Illinois first half as well. See, so they're saying Illinois first half, and they expect Texas to wear them down. So keep an eye on Illinois first half as well.
I like it. I also don't know if, and this obviously isn't a road game, I don't know if Texas has played outside of the state of Texas. They might have played a neutral site game somewhere in Texas, but I don't think they've left Texas this year either. So this would be, again, not a true road game by any means, but first time they're traveling, I think, here. Because they had Gonzaga, and it was at Austin. It was in Austin, Texas. The only game that wasn't was in Edinburgh, Texas, I think, so far. So I think all their games, 5 of their 6 have been at home, and then the one game against Northern Arizona was somewhere else in Texas.
Spot on. Yep, 5 home games and a semi-home game. So this is their first time jumping in a plane and heading over to MSG. Good job. Illinois first half, people.
All righty. Sounds good. I love to hear it. So you just mentioned Maryland and the Friday night. They are 8-0. I think they jumped up to the 13th team in the country, AP, and now they are on the road here in Madison, Wisconsin as underdogs. Obviously a tough place to play in Madison, so not sure if that's where you're leaning on. The total, 131.5, suggests that is a lot more of a Wisconsin total than a Maryland total there. And Wisconsin, ever since, or at least these last few years here, has handled Maryland pretty well. So I kind of lean towards Wisconsin, buying the respect to the home team here in Wisconsin up against a 8-0 team due for some regression. Is that where you're going with, or do you think Maryland keeps it rolling here?
This is the game that got me with the 20. No, that was Michigan State 20-4 start at Maryland. Maryland's a different creature right now this year.
Yeah.
They're we again want them. We expect them to lose. Why? Because we didn't think they'd start the year 8-0. I mean, Niagara, Western Carolina, Binghamton, no thanks. Okay, St. Louis, I have probably a little more love than most people to St. Louis, but they beat them by 28. Miami of Florida, been Jekyll and Hyde. Coppin State, no thank you. Louisville, hell no. But again, they were ready for Illinois. It was a tight game. This is the spot that you would expect a letdown. Again, a Maryland team that 2 neutral games, 4 home games, 1 road game to Louisville, which they absolutely wiped the floor with them. So I'll just go on record. It's a Maryland number. I would respect Wisconsin 3.5, 4. Let me see here. Let me go through Wisconsin for you. South Dakota, Stanford, Green Bay, Dayton. They beat them by 1. They lose to Kansas in OT. They beat a scrappy USC team. Wake Forest, I have some respect for. They lost to them by 3, and then a Marquette game that they won in OT. I'm just going to go on record. I know it's Wisconsin. I know it's home. It's a Maryland number.
Okay. What about the total? Do you think that one's anything to make out of that, though?
I like Wisconsin 112, 116, 118, 120, 122. When I see 130s, I get a little nervous. Like Virginia. Virginia today, I have it at 138. We're waiting. This Virginia team not too long ago used to be 112, 111. A big number for them was 120 or 121.
Right. Totally.
The actual number that I have is 138. I think they're posting right around 134 right now. So this is like Virginia UNLV on speed or something. I mean, this is just comical right now. Be interested to see what happens there. That number's a little high for me in the Wisconsin. Like we did have that over on Saturday, Marquette, Wisconsin, that we got really easy.
Yeah.
I think it's a Terp number.
Okay. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you. I usually, when I do this, I have egg on my face, but I'm gonna respectfully disagree and say Wisconsin and the under. I think they could make this one nasty, grimy, and ugly. Part of it for me is just the 135 the other day, and a lot of these Maryland totals have been up in the 145, so kind of meeting in the middle. But I could be totally wrong, and you might be spot on with what you're saying. So I'm gonna respectfully disagree, but I'm not. It's not. I'm not. I don't have any money on it or anything. I'm just respectfully disagreeing.
And don't forget too, you're talking about the middle there too. Is the fact that usually these games in Wisconsin are slower. They're slower paced. Um, right, we had 135, and it got over easy. And I'm not even counting the overtime. But why did it get over so easily? I wasn't expecting Wisconsin to get out there, box the wire that game. Marquette rallied the troops. So every time I was getting an update of that game, I was seeing Wisconsin. I'm just like, keep scoring, Wisconsin. Keep scoring, Wisconsin. So your underplay will be predicated on Wisconsin's defense. And it'll be Maryland. If Maryland's pressing the pace and has the lead the whole time, it's the Wisconsin team that's going to want to try to slow them down. Keep the game in the low 60s. First one to 65 wins. If this game gets into the 70s, then it's definitely a Maryland number.
Oh, totally, 100%. Cannot disagree with you at all there. So, excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit today. Iowa and Duke is the other one. I think there's only three Big Ten games. Iowa and Duke, the 8:30 my time, 9:30 your time at MSG there. I've talked about Iowa's a tough team to bet on for the most part because they can get extremely hot, they can get extremely cold. Just when it's a spot where they're due for a win or a loss, they can defy that with shooting poorly or on fire. Not saying any of that any which way tonight, but a short number, Duke, number 15 in the country, Duke. I've always been vocal. I don't know that this is the situation of Duke typically being inflated, especially when they've got a number next to their name and the other team doesn't. Is that where you would lean today, or is this a spot where Duke actually might have some value today?
Duke's second home always was Madison Square Garden. Yeah. It was kind of comical where with Coach K in their glory days, they'd basically be playing somewhere in North Carolina their first two games, and then they'd have their next two games usually in Madison Square Garden, and then they traveled somewhere to the to the Final Four. Again, like I said, it looked like an Illinois number. It's definitely an Iowa number. There's no way anyone can tell me because Duke carries so much weight. People are gonna get home from work. They're gonna turn on ESPN and like, holy shit, Texas, Illinois. Everyone knows Texas is going to steamroll there. I mean, they're a juggernaut this year. And then I get Duke at one, and it opened at 1.5 for a reason. They knew they'd get Duke money. I'm seeing 2.5. On a way to 3 in some spots. So if you want the Iowa side, just sit and wait before tip-off. You should get 3. For me, it's Iowa or nothing here.
I think I'm with you 100% there. I mean, the total at 148, kind of in the realm of Iowa. Iowa's pretty typical totals, but Duke, not so much. So if that total is sticking true, then definitely it's Iowa pushing the pace a little bit there. So I'm with you on that one for sure. So that's it for the Big Ten. Another one, you mentioned St. Louis. They are playing Iona tonight, -1.5. Is that a little bit of a fishy line, or do you think that one's fair on the road against Patino there?
No, it's an Iona number. Ken Palm's got it 77-76, St. Louis. Iona 81st, St. Louis 40th. If I break this down for you right now, St. Louis comes in 2 losses, one to Maryland, who's undefeated, and one to Auburn by 5. Okay,
yeah, they're
good. They are good. And now an Iona team who's got 2 losses, one to Hofstra, one to Santa Clara. Their wins against Penn, UVM, Niagara, and Canisius. This smells to holy hell. As much as I like St. Louis, and St. Louis is good, guys. If you're not on the Musketeers, if you're not on this team, the Billikens, keep an eye on them. But for me, this would be Ricky P or nothing. That's all.
100% I was with you on that one. That one, I think I might actually put a little down on Iona at home on that one. So the other one that I was interested in, we've talked about this team a few times, and I haven't, the last week or so, I haven't been keeping tabs on them. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Vermont and Dartmouth. Is this another one that was feeling a little stinky to you, or do you think that's a fair line there? They are on the road at Dartmouth, I think. But Dartmouth 292 per Ken Palm. Vermont 166. Vermont obviously 4-7 straight up, but I think a lot of people would still see that and think Vermont is the right side there. No.
Dartmouth 292, Vermont. You said 166. Ken Palm's got it 70 to 66. Again, UVM the last few years has been the darling of the East. I'll just pull them up right now. Their wins against Brown, Ball State, Northern Vermont, who's not ranked, and they're coming off a 23-point win against Merrimack. Their losses, St. Mary's, legit. Cal State Fullerton in double overtime, yeah. USC, legit. Iona, legit. Yale this year is legit. Beat them by 29. There. Ball State, 5-point win. Then UNC Wilmington, who's sneaky. The Miners are sneaky. They lost to them by 2. Long Beach State, guys, you can't lose to Long Beach State by 20. I'm sorry. There. Let me go to Dartmouth here. Dartmouth loses to Fordham, Bryant, Quinnipiac, Incarnate Word, Grambling State. They beat Mass College of Liberal Arts. Me, Riley, TJ, Mr. PB could beat that team, okay? They beat UTSA, good football team this year, not basketball. They in overtime. And then Cal State, 4 points, huh? Holy, it's supposed to be a get well spot for Vermont here.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Wasn't suggesting I'm trying to play it. Just felt like it was a little stinky to some degree here.
Let me dig one more here. 5.5 is the actual number with a 135.5. It's flat fives. If you wanted to dip your toe, UVM is the side here, guys. They're supposed to win by 7, 9, 8, 10. With that said, I'd go shopping somewhere else.
I think so too. Just felt the need to bring that one up a little bit here. Any other? Well, you mentioned, you know what? You just mentioned them. Yale. I think it's it's at Butler. For honestly, both these teams the last couple of years have been a thorn in my side. So I'm staying far away from this matchup. But Butler by 6.5. Is this a spot where Butler should take care of business at home, or is Yale live dog there?
Just outside looking in, it's a Yale number. Now, Butler 86, Yale 90. Ken Palm's got it 68-64 Butler. I'm going to pull up Butler right now for everyone here. Wins against New Orleans, St. Francis, PA, the Citadel. They beat BYU on a neutral court. K-State, Tennessee Tech. Their losses on a neutral court to NC State. They lost by 26 to Tennessee. They lost by 6 to Penn State. So their losses, they got a decent schedule here. Now, Yale is supposed to be the cream of the crop this year in the Ivy League. One loss, Colorado, at Colorado, which is a not easy place to play. They lost by 3. They beat Sarah Lawrence and John Jay. I mean, what is that, a choir or a duet or something? I mean, two non-ranked teams. Yeah, exactly. Eastern Washington, Mississippi Valley State, Hawaii. They beat UVM by 29. They beat Howard. They beat Stony Brook. The average person side looking in, there's 2 ways to decipher this. If you're looking at actual records, they might lean Yale. This is a game I would respect Butler with a higher spread, 7.5, 8. Give me 6.5. Give me 7. Give me something here. I think Vegas might be on to pretty spot on this number. Let me look one more spot here. Okay, so I got a 6.5 with a 131. I think Vegas is spot on. I'll give the slightest of lean with the spread to Butler. I think they've played superior quality. This is a team and a game that's supposed to win by double digits.
Right. No, I think I'm with you. I just felt the need to bring it up. Butler, so far, Butler's been you laid it out for the most part. They've been a weird team, kind of I don't even know that dark horse is the right word in the Big East this year. Kind of a party crasher almost in some respects, as far as Probably won't be a tournament team, but probably going to pull off 2 or 3 upsets in the Big East that is going to keep you open your eyes and make you think Butler's a legitimate team, and then they'll lose games to Georgetown or something like that. So I'm interested to see where their season goes, but yeah. Just felt the need to bring that one up. I'm staying away from it. Any other games that you were interested in talking about as far as college basketball?
Well, it's funny because you brought up Ken Palm, and anyone here again, I'm not here to sell Ken Palm, okay? But if for $21 for a full year, if you enjoy college basketball, if you enjoy breaking it down like this, give yourself an early stocking stuffer. It's $21. It's fabulous, and you can break down the games. There's so many ways to go at it, and for a college basketball junkie, it's where you want to be. That's number one. Number two, the updated Ken Palm, a once 20-9 UConn team, and then it was like 24-6. If you go on and look at the rest of UConn's schedule, Ken Palm has UConn winning every game this year. I just have to laugh. They have them. Their first loss was coming February 11th at Creighton by 1 or 2. Now he's got them beating them by 1. UConn tomorrow, 5.5-point favorites at Florida. I'm scared shitless of that game. So I wanted to bring up Virginia. They're playing James Madison here, and the reason I'm bringing it up is our sheet has a 138.5, not 128.5, not 118.5 where Virginia used to be. Okay, 138.5. Now I'm seeing 134s and 134.5. Okay. And actually, our friends at South Point must be listening right now because they know where I was going with this. They just bumped it up to 135. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Mr. Vaccaro. You guys are hilarious there. But I'm just going, it's a high number. This James Madison team ranked 80th on Ken Palm right now. They lost to North Carolina by 16. They lost to Valpo by 2 in overtime. Other than that, Valley Forge not ranked, but Hampton, Buffalo, Howard, Coastal Georgia, South Dakota. They haven't really played it. When they played Carolina, it was closer than that 16. Valpo's an okay team. Virginia, here's what I want to bring up, guys. Virginia undefeated. Now, Florida State, they sleptwalked. They beat them by 5. They beat Michigan by 2. Maryland, Eastern State, but listen, they beat Illinois by 9. They beat Baylor by 7. Okay, I think this Virginia team's going to score a lot of points. So if I'm going to do some basic math here, Riley, help me out here. Where'd that game go? Come on, eyes, don't deceive me. 138 with a 12. It was 14. 80, 60, 75. 55 is 30. Did they give you what, 77 in the hook for Virginia?
73.5.
73.5
and 59.5.
I like the over in this game, and I think Virginia gets over 73.5. They gave you 73.5 and 59.5. Wow, see, I'm telling you, my brain's going here. I should have had that like that. I'm usually spot on, too. 73.5.
I mean, for everyone that knows about Virginia, they're going to be, they're at, if you see 70, you're thinking it stays under, they're always in the 60s for the most part. So, I'm with you on that one. That one's interesting there. I could see them getting over that for sure.
Hold on 1 second here. Let me just go to one game here.
Well, not to mention, Virginia's got a little bit of James Madison knocked them off at James Madison last year, 52-49. So they've got a little bit of revenge in their pocket, Virginia here.
That's when Virginia was railing, too. North Carolina only scored 80 on them. That was early in the year. Yeah, I like the over if you get 134, 134.5. But I like that Virginia team total. You said 73 in the hook?
I believe so, yeah.
All right. I definitely like that one there.
And all these ones that I see are about minus 120, 125, so maybe a flat 74 is on anyone's book also.
You talked about that. Oakland, but you talked about them. St. Louis, Iona. The Georgia Tech game, the only reason I'm talking about that one, it looked like Georgia, they got a stomach bug or something. They got Moncrief doubtful, and then Anselm, Oquendo, and Roberts all questionable. Two to illness, one undisclosed. So I didn't know if there was a bug going on. It was a 3. It went to 4.5. I don't know who's playing. There are some forwards there. A 128 now, 131. So that's about it.
Okay. That one caught my eye a little bit there, and I didn't have anything else. Syracuse 4-4, 16, 17 and a half, or 16 and a half, 17-point favorites against Oakland. 2-8 Oakland, so not sure what to make out of that one. But I've got nothing else, my friend, as far as any of the slates on tonight is concerned.
In the pucks tonight, I'm just gonna. There's a handful of games. I haven't seen this in a while. It was kind of comical. I talked to Andrew about this today. 2 team totals of 4.5, both juiced under -170. But the Devils tonight are 4.5, and they moved one of them. They moved. Pittsburgh was 4.5. Now it's 3.5 over 165. That caught my eye. ECSI VIPs 1-0 to start the week. Vegas team total over 2.5 last night. We get there early in the second period. We talked about sprinkling a little beer and pizza money on plus 161 to win that game. Cassidy coming back. Bruins 14-0 at home. I had a text at 4:30 yesterday, and I says the numbers don't add up. I says it smells like 3-3 overtime, and sure enough, it goes 3-3 overtime. Shootout win Vegas. So when you're seeing the board well, you're seeing the board well. Look at TJ said 74 and a hook on DK. Pizza and beer, TJ. Don't put a full unit on it. I think they got closer to 77, 78. I wouldn't be shocked if they got to 80, but don't put a full unit on it. Some pizza and beer on over 74.5 is fine there. So VIPs, the alert will be out soon. I'm just going to catch my breath here. Tomorrow is Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Andrew at 1:00, and we're going to circle back the wagons around 4:30 for you, and that's about it. Anything else?
No, as far as tomorrow's concerned, you got your UConn against Florida. I know Michigan State, Penn State basketball. Northwestern getting the win over Michigan State this weekend, and Nebraska taking down Creighton. They're at Indiana this weekend. Not this weekend, tomorrow night. So a couple nice Big Ten games tomorrow as well.
And I just don't want to pat myself on the ass too hard, but I did call the undefeated Hoosiers would lose at the Rack on Saturday. Thank you. Rutgers boxed the wire there.
Rutgers at the Rack.
Yes. So tomorrow, Riley, around 4:30, I'll hit you up for a closing bell. I can't thank everyone enough. It's been a long day here. 4 shows. TJ, PB, you were here through the morning, afternoon, and night. God bless you guys. ECSI VIPs, your alert will be out soon. So go grab a quick beverage. Let me crunch some numbers, and we'll go from there. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at DC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Madison at Riley_Madison1, we wish everyone a blessed evening. Let's have some fun. Just, it's the Christmas season here, so pump the brakes, will you? Have some fun, stay in your lanes, and we'll see you soon.